Well, good afternoon, and welcome to Reflections with the Rhonda Jones and Monica Livingston and Kimberly Johnson.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Well, the kids nowadays say my squad. I got my squad with me. So.
Okay.
My son's favorite thing to say is bra.
Bra.
It's supposed to be bro, but it's bra.
Yeah, bra.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, brah. We got the things working today. We are missing Ruthie though, and
Yeah.
we're just kind of joking around about her not being here. And like when we're late, she'll always say, "We're late, we're late, we're late." And so I had to do a little bit of that too because we miss her, right, ladies?
Yes, very much.
Okay, let's go around the room
Hope
and
so.
say what's the number one thing we're going to miss about Ruthie today during the show. Who wants to go first?
I miss the way that she, when she's fixing to say something, she gets that little smile. Like she knows she
kind of wiggles in her chair. Like.
Yeah, and she gets all excited.
Yeah, she does. She does do that. Yeah. Well,
I like how sometimes she'll just outright surprise us and what we thought she was thinking. She's like, no. And she's
Yeah.
like the opposite turn of the coin. And it's like, oh, that's pretty refreshing.
really,
Definitely.
it is because when they're older, you expect an older person type response. But with Ruthie, it's always the most non-conventional answer. It's, usually very open-minded, and she has amazed us time and time again. So we're going to miss her, but we can be a little more raunchy today. Like, we may talk about moon time and stuff. I don't know. I think she'd be embarrassed if we talked about moon time.
I don't have that anymore, so
I don't either.
I'll be all mo then.
So I have to talk about my own time.
We can talk about our old days of moon time. Well, if we
Y'all
come,
go first.
If we run out of anything else to talk about.
we're talking about moon time. God.
And for those of you who don't know what that is, you might change Jim now.
Oh, good God, what's wrong with us? Okay, we're going to start with Monica. Just joking. She's like,
Well, I can talk about weeks, but I don't.
come to me first because she tried to bring some old tired story here today, and it's a good story. And then she was like, did I already talk about this? And I said, I think so, but that's how my mind is. I said, I'm not so sure. Say it again because I don't remember it. But Kimberly, being younger, she was like, yeah, you did. You did.
Well, it's on our reflections page. If you didn't watch that show, or if you're curious what I talked about before, it's on reflections.
You can see it.
Well, I want to bring up Lisa Graves just for a moment or two. She doesn't live in the limelight like her husband does, Robert Graves, a.k.a. Bob. But she, every year, it's a thing that she goes to California and volunteers at a horse rescue ranch. So cool. I mean, such a great heart for that type of an animal. And probably all animals, they have cats and dogs and whatever. But I just think that's awesome. And so we want to send a reflections shout out to you, Lisa Graves, for, even though it's probably really way cool and exciting and you get to get away from your husband and responsibilities for a while, it's still really great of you to go and volunteer. And it's got to be heart-wrenching when you see abandoned animals, or, if you have to see the horses with the ribs showing and things like that. It's not an easy thing to do. And we want to say you're awesome for doing that.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Good job, Lisa.
yeah, good job, Lisa. Good job.
Very much so.
Very much so. All right. I get in trouble, I think, from my husband for watching I Am Cait.
I watched it one day. It was actually towards the end of the show, so I didn't get to see all of it, but I did watch one episode.
Yeah.
When I flipped a channel, saw it was on, and let me see what it's about.
I'm curious.
Now, why do you get in trouble with your husband for watching I Am Cait?
I don't know, but even today he was like something. What did he say? Watching him. I was like, him. It's a her. It's a her. You need to start watching the show. Cait is a her. I mean, you need to get the pronouns right, honey. Honeys? who am I emulating? You probably know, Kimberly. Honeys, honey. No, I can't say it. I bet Rick knows. Well, honeys, you can't, no, Billy Van Zandt used to call his
I don't think
congregation
I ever
honeys.
actually met Billy Van Zandt.
Crap. You probably try to push that to the side.
If you did, it
If I did, I suppressed the memories.
Okay. A well-known pastor in Texas
Okay.
said it. He would call his congregation honeys. I thought it was.
I never
kinda
actually, I didn't know that there was a show. And when you said the show, I Am Cait, my first thought was Princess Kate. And I was like, there's a show about the royal family? Not that that would be surprising either. But that's what I thought. Why would you get in trouble for watching Kate? Okay.
cute. Well, I'll tell you about it. It's not
I didn't know.
really-
We don't have television in my house. So I didn't know. So this is a show about Caitlyn Jenner?
Jenner. Yeah. Not in trouble,
Okay.
but I guess he doesn't understand my fascination. He doesn't understand that that's just fascinating to me. You know, it's, you know, you just see her really evolving and going through all kinds of new experiences, you know, like now it's dating. She was like, that's really the last thing on my mind, because it's not about a sex thing, you know, changing, transitioning from a male to female. You don't do that so you can go get some sex, or, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You do it because that's who you really are. And just to watch her, you know, contemplate all these things and new experiences and stuff, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah, the episode I saw, it was her and a bunch of friends, and I don't know if there obviously, I think, were a few that were transgender, and because they were. The reason I say that is not because they looked, you know, anything like that. The topic of conversation was about welcoming to the community type. You know, just kind of the talk was centered around transgender issues, and then they started talking about like applying makeup and bras and all that, and you know, it was funny to kind of see Caitlyn talk about, you know, I never really understood about the, you know, this and that, and, you know.
Yeah, why girls have to wear sports bras, and just, you know, I think he doesn't want me to have this morbid curiosity about it, you know, like it's like a freak show. That's not why. I don't consider it a freak show. I just
Right.
consider it a social, really kind of an experiment that I can watch and see how she handles all this. Now, in one segment, and I can understand what she's talking about, but I knew she was going to get some blowback, because this is what she said. They were at a table eating, and she was like, you know, they're talking about dating again, and she was like, I just want to, you know, I think it would be good for me if a man would treat me like a normal woman. It would make me feel very attractive. Oh, you talk about hissy fits all the way around. I mean, the ladies did not appreciate that, because what are they going to say first and foremost? Can you guess?
Well, you're not a normal woman. That's probably what they would say. I mean, that's what I think that most women would say.
Oh my God.
Or why do you need a man? Or what?
Yeah, like why do you need a man to make you feel attractive, like a normal woman? I guess that's where they were coming from, but.
You were saying her friends were saying this, or the talk, like comments about the show?
Caitlyn was saying, you know, probably the part about dating, I would like to go on a date and have a man treat me. I think if that would happen, I would feel very attractive if I were treated like a woman by a man. And they just, you know, all of a sudden, you know, all the eyes got big, you know, because they've been through their transitions for, you know, many years, but here she is, months, you know, out in the open. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with that, you know.
I was thinking you were talking about like comments when I said that like people
Comments
from
on the show.
outside of
comments on the
comment
show.
about it, because, you know, so many people are like, you know, it is a freak show, and, you know, it's not normal, and, you know,
Yeah.
still have guy DNA. I mean, I've heard stupid comments. So that's what I was referring to, not her friends and her, you know, so sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I can see what they're kind of saying is you need to have your own self-esteem, your own self-worth, and not rely on somebody else, because that's very true of all of us, you know.
Yeah, but
as
I can
people.
also see, I mean, it's something special when the person you're with treats you like you're attractive or treats you like a lady.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and
That's
I
what I
don't
was
see
thinking.
anything wrong with enjoying that. That doesn't mean you base your identity on their opinion of you, but it's pleasurable to be treated, like you're valued.
Right.
Exactly. And I think that's what, and the first thing that hit my mind was, and sounds bad, but that is like a normal, a woman, I'm not gonna say normal, but women, for the most part, like that. They like, a man to recognize that she's a woman and she has traits and her mind is, feminine and different things. And, so Caitlyn is, to me, that was proof positive that
That's
she's
pretty
really
normal.
a woman. I was like, yeah, you are a woman. You're not just mixed up. Because women like that.
Yeah, if she had more than men DNA, it would be, not all men, but a lot of men, it would be like, yeah, I just want to go get some type thing,
Yeah, so we know it's not.
There's the raunchiness. We brought it out.
Yeah, we did. Because when she first said it's not about sex, I was like, you are a woman then, because it's not about sex. with a
And
woman.
not all men are like that. We don't think all men are like that, but there are fair share out there that are.
Okay, let me go around the room. What percentage, Kimberly, do you think of men are like that? This is a guesstimate.
I don't know.
Just
But I did hear
ballpark it.
that, God created men with two brains, with two heads, but only enough blood to run one at a time. So
So then that'd be 100%.
so I don't know, possibly a pretty high percentage are running off the wrong one. So
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that, Mama.
I don't know about the percentage. I mean, I imagine there's probably a lot of really great guys out there. I mean, I know quite a few that, are really good guys, but I think, I would think that it would be a higher percentage than a lower
It would
percentage.
definitely be in the 90s, I would think. To me.
But wild guesses. I don't know.
Well, believe it or not, getting ready for this morning's teaching, we saw Dr. Ed Young doing some stuff while we were getting ready. And he was talking about men and how they have like little compartments and, sex compartment, this compartment, that compartment, house, kids, whatever. But women's brains are all tied together, and all firing.
Just jumbled mess.
No, not really.
No, not really.
No.
Just the opposite,
Yeah.
And then,
I just feel like mine's a jumbled mess sometimes. That's why I say that.
No, I mean, men and women, their brains are wired differently. There's a fundamental difference.
Exactly.
And, I think that ties back to, all the way back to the basic roles that men and women used to play. It's not so obvious now. But men typically would be the ones to wage war and hunt, while women typically were the ones to have to feed and protect children.
Yeah.
So we had to think differently. The fight or flight response, when they first tested that, the test was done on men. Men have the fight or flight response. Women typically have a befriend or appease, because fight or flight with an infant in your arms is hard. So women have more options within their mind. Men's typical response is fight or flight, and that's normal.
Oh.
But because the brain is different, women also have the response to either befriend what's coming at them or appease. So, at any rate.
Okay. Well, as far as this dude was talking about, he said that women, if something's going on in your mind, since it's all interconnected. Like if you're thinking about your children or your son's on the battlefield, or your grandson's sick, or your granddaughter's doing poor in school, or you got bills, you're not going to think about sex. But the man can just take that little compartment out and leave you fine.
Turn off everything else.
Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
They say that's where intuition comes from, because a woman can think of so many different things at one time. They can see patterns, that it's more difficult. And it's not that it's mystical or based off of emotion. It's just the way the brain functions.
yeah, I truly believe that. But when you were talking about fight or flight, or would you say
Befriend or appease.
befriend or appease? I was going to say just fight, because if you're having to take care of that baby, and I don't know, it's like that mama bear.
Oh, sure. Did you ever
thing.
read Rudyard Kipling's poem, The Female of the Species is More Deadly Than the Male?
Oh, well,
I
know
haven't
that to
read
be
that, but
true.
we're going to have to read
Yeah.
that.
That's an excellent poem. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, we'll have to get it here sometime and read it. But yeah, you do have that. But at the same time, you know that if you go down, there's nobody left to protect the infant. So a woman will reason out, should I fight or should I try to befriend or appease?
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes down to a fight,
You
she'll
better
fight.
be ready.
You better be ready. Especially about the baby.
Yes, but it's not her first response usually because she knows, running with this infant or trying to fight and dying leaves the infant unprotected.
Yeah. Looks like Dr. Jones is in the house. Do you have anything to say? And I'm sure you do. Get a microphone, pull up a chair.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble
whenever
now.
he starts like sighing and go, but just remember, you have 3 like very strong women up here, and it could be deadly. Very.
It's one of my favorite poems. I'll bring it up here one time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, that's why they call the Black Widow is she's deadly, and they deem that term to women who kill their husbands. We had a lady here in Pensacola area in Pensacola, and I think she killed husbands and even a child. And Judy, I'm gonna make this up, Buenos or something like that. But I mean, she was a famous female villain, and they called her the Black Widow because she would get a husband and then get the money and then kill him.
You think after a while, a few of them would get the picture.
Well, you don't tell the other about the, you just.
Yeah, but
You've been
I
through
mean, you
how
don't
many
hear about
husbands?
it?
Maybe she just doesn't tell anybody about the husbands, previous
I don't
husbands.
know. You got that stuff.
Move from town
Well,
to town.
If this was a
don't
long
know.
time ago, there wasn't the internet.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
true.
do a Google search and figure out people's business or a public record search and find out if they've been arrested and all that.
Mo cuts to the chase, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
So, what are you huffing and puffing about, Dr. Jones?
Anytime that we talk about, let's say, the brain that is concerning women and men, there are more variables involved in that chatter than what most people think. In other words, everything, let's talk about males. When people approach this from a scientific methodology, they're going to deal with numbers that most people are not familiar with. They're not going to group all women in the as being identical. In other words, the brain is a fascinating thing to study, but every brain isn't identical, and so. For instance, when it comes to cognitive operations, when it comes to this and that pertaining to the brain, much needs to be looked at when it comes to what people are saying. In other words, I've given you the scale over and over again. If we put a 0 in the middle and we go to the left of the 0 from 1 to 10, and we go from the 0 to the right 1 to 10, that's a beautiful picture of what we need to look at, because all men are not a 10. Let's say to the left is male and to the right is the female. And let's say that, when analysis is done, at the end of the day, you're going to find people all over the place. And so when we say that, females generally, do this, that is based upon certain aspects of how conclusions are drawn statistically, but that's not necessarily the end mark. In other words, there were some statistics, just to make a point, that were drawn concerning, the black race about 30 to 40 years ago, which would indicate, something that people laugh at today. And I'm just afraid that today we're not looking at, how science is approaching both men and women. And this is why I was laughing at Dr. Young this morning, because I think that he was making some abysmally ignorant statements, yet his audience was quite satisfied. And I think that sometimes when we approach this with, black and white chatter, I think that we miss the point of what's being stated, that is in the scientific context.
I can totally agree with that. Not all, minds are the same because, I know plenty of women that have no motherly instinct. They don't desire to have children. They're bothered by children more than feeling a nurturing desire to care for the child. And then there's plenty of people out there, men and women both, that are so focused on self and achievements or whatever drives them that they don't want children, and that's fine because everybody's different. But knowing that you're that person and not having a child versus having a child and then just not taking care of it,
Right. I
Um,
think one of the best examples today of trying to look at the entire picture would be what's going on in Bruce, now Caitlyn's life, looking at that particular brain as opposed to other brains would be not considered to be just completely the same. Does that make sense? In other words, there are some things that Bruce, now Caitlyn, is in transition concerning. Go ahead.
What's this? Bruce, not Caitlyn. Bruce, not Caitlyn. Bruce, not Caitlyn.
I'm just trying to be clear.
Caitlyn.
I'm just trying to be
Caitlyn.
clear as to what was the past and now is the present.
But I think when you say Caitlyn Jenner, everybody goes, that used to be Bruce. Yeah,
Okay, but-
I think it's a little disrespectful, honey, just to say Bruce, not Caitlyn. Bruce, not Caitlyn. What do you think, ladies?
It's not
Yeah, once was
disrespectful.
enough.
I mean, at one point, okay, but what?
Can't say once is enough.
We all know who you're talking about.
Okay, not all people who have let's say just for the sake of argument, not all people who have crossed the fence stay on the other side. And so sometimes this is something that is, it has a lot of conundrums with it. And sometimes people remain in a conundrum in terms of identity. And so some people are there, that is in the context of identity, but they are not there in various other axes. That's what I'm suggesting. And this is true with the human brain and how it functions, that is within given individuals. And so we can't just say that, if we look at a study, this is the way that all men function. This is the way that all men function. That is, when it comes to this and that, it's a little bit more complex than that. That was my only point.
Yeah, well, you just gave a percentage. It's just in the high 90s.
It's in the high 90s, yeah. It's not all. Definitely not all.
But I'm simply saying that Caitlyn, and I respect Caitlyn.
Oh,
Yeah, Ricky's sitting next to me. He said, "You mean Bruce?" That was him.
Trying to
Okay.
get you in trouble.
My point is this, Caitlyn. I very much respect where she is, but where will she be in 10 years?
well, where
None
will
of
you
us
be
know.
in 10 years? You might.
I so agree. We are all in flux in a sense. And so science is in flux, and science is drawing conclusions now, not that we're competent to all of the questions concerning the brain. And simply to say, oh, men react this way and women react that way, we can say, well, a certain study in particular, and really get into the particulars of that study and how it was conducted so one can actually understand what the conclusions might be. And that will demonstrate a much different picture than just throwing red meat out.
Well, let's put it this way. Out of every single man I've ever met, it's in the high 90s. Monica, what about you?
Probably so.
Kimberly?
I would say so, probably so.
Okay, it's just 3 life experiences right here, totaling over 100 years of experience. And
I really wish Ruthie was here. I would like to know what her
We'll have to ask her when she gets back.
yeah,
She's lived longer than us. I want to see what her percentage would be.
that is true. But
If she'd share that with us.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't. But I do understand exactly what you're saying. You just can't paint everybody with a broad brush. But I can say, in my experience, it's in the high 90s. In her experience, high 90s. Kimberly's experience, high 90s. Everyone I've ever spoken to, it would be in the high 90s. So I'm just going off of anecdotal evidence.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, honey, and I agree with you. However, I would say that all three of you guys have an interpretation as to what is being stated. And I don't think that your interpretation is identical to Monica's nor Kaylee's. I'm simply saying that it is what it is, and it may be all over the place. And so we can agree with numbers, we can state things, but in between the left and the right here, there's a lot of interpretation that's happening, and it's something that makes sense to us. And this is something that we need to be extremely careful with. And so with that said, I don't think that dealing with one percentage concerning one idea is the thing to always do in most of these cases. That is, if one is going to approach it in a manner to where it brings understanding.
Well, I think all the ladies out there understand exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, I got you.
I can't deviate from the percentages that I gave, but I can't do it. It's, to say otherwise, I would be lying. So, and I didn't say scientifically in the study at Dartmouth College and blah, 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 it's, whatever. I said in Rhonda Jones's experience, it's in the high 90s. Monica Livingston's experience, the high 90s. Kimberly Johnson's experience, high 90s. We're batting 1,000, ladies. I do know that.
You guys will win.
But we do take what you said is, we do understand, you just can't, because three women say, our experience has been, it's in the high 90s, that, men are a certain way. We could be the only three women on planet Earth that have had those experiences. We're not, though. But we could be. So I'm just saying, when you live long enough, you can pretty much see patterns, predictabilities, and things like that. So can't take that away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I read somewhere, and it's been a long time ago, but it said that most women might think of sex 4 or 5 times a day, if that, but a guy's like every 15, 20 seconds or so. It was just something like that. I can't even quote it. It's not exact. So, but it was something about it. It just keeps coming up in their brain, and
that's so nasty.
Well, I'm speaking mostly from the experience working in nursing homes, and that is the last thing to go. I mean, men who've lost their minds and are combative. We had one aide that could get a very combative resident who suffered from dementia into bed if she promised to get him another girl to hop in there with him. He'd go. So
I tell you what, I went with a friend to a nursing home because she volunteered there.
That's the last thing to go. I'm telling you.
She had to pick up a paycheck, and I got chased down the hall by one of them dementia men with a pretty substantial bone to pick. Let's just leave it that way. He was chasing me down the hallway. I was 16 and freaked out. Went and got my friend's car and hit on the floorboard.
Where's Ruby?
Okay, can I ask a curiosity question? Just
all right,
just
yes,
a question.
go ahead.
Okay, let's presuppose that we take a female brain. Okay, I'm not talking about the one that Jack Nicholson was talking about. Okay.
Move on.
But let's say that we inject this person who has this brain with the kind of hormones that, let's say, a male has. Do you think that some of this activity that you guys have observed would be different, namely in that brain, than it would be if it did not have that injection? In other words, so many times we're not really taking into the equation, what certain hormones do. In other words, sometimes people become more reckless when they have the kind of hormones that men have. Would you agree with that? There are many, many studies out there that would indicate if you have certain kind of
Yeah, that's where the statement "too much testosterone" comes from all the time.
I get that.
That's exactly what we're
but
saying.
You guys are talking specific to the brain, suggesting that the brain is.
Well, the brain don't act alone.
Okay,
That's what we're saying.
Okay,
That's what hormones are dealt with, and
get that, but if you
Surgeons are-
inject
yeah.
a person
With
with the
testosterone.
same amount or maybe more, I mean, is the brain in a woman going to possibly get that particular person to do the same thing that a lot of these men that you guys have observed over the years are doing? I mean,
I believe so.
Yeah.
If it's enough. I
so
do.
the issue is really not about the brain, is what you're saying.
No, it is
It's
not.
about being male and having testosterone.
And having the brain they have.
And the brain that recognizes that you have that testosterone.
Okay, I was simply saying that you have to look at this a little bit more specifically. It's not just,
Yeah, I don't
A
think any of
brain
us up here
difference.
think it's just the male brain. It's just the combination of
Just say
the whole
male.
makeup of
Don't
them.
say brain. Male. Men. 98%.
98, she's getting real specific.
Men. No brain, no men.
The entire makeup.
yeah, Rick back here in the control room, he's really offended. I mean,
I'm surprised he hasn't shut off the feed yet. Kill it!
And so, I mean, we don't have to say
Crazy
brain.
women.
It's just our experiences, people. You may have experienced something totally different.
All right. Well,
Okay, moving on.
we're not really trying to
Thank
man
you.
bash. We're really not.
No, absolutely not. We didn't say,
Yeah, I wasn't
it's
trying
not.
to say a woman's brain's better than a man's brain or anything. They're just different, and they're wired different.
exactly. We're wired
It's
different.
just different, and
okay,
that's fine.
I'm not
It's not
pushing
one
back
better or
on
another.
the diversity. I'm just saying that there's much more diversity within, the various brains, that is, from male to female. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff in between that just needs to be taken into account. That's all I had to say. I'm really not pushing up against what you guys are saying.
No, I'm sure you're not. But we do thank you for joining the show, and just come anytime.
In other words, she's saying twist off.
Well, I mean, why do you think we have theology? It's about what man wanted to push on women.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that with all my
But
heart.
women, for some reason, accepted that God. The question would be, why?
I guess the same reason the man did.
I'm just saying.
Why did the woman
man
also
creates-
accept that she didn't have a voice and a right to vote and right to an opinion and a right to schooling for so many years?
Yeah, but
Well,
man
probably
created the almighty
with you.
pervert. I mean, the almighty pervert, the all-knowing pervert, the all-loving pervert, that kind of pervert, and yet so many women are attracted to that pervert. I don't get it.
You talking about God?
Yeah.
I'm not
I
saying
mean, they
that-
drool over him, they dance over
Don't
him, they
love him
speak in
for
all
good,
kinds of
yeah.
languages concerning him. There's something about women, they just smile when they hear about this pervert. What's the deal?
We like perverts, I guess. Okay, well, thank you for joining our show today, and I don't want
Okay.
you to be like Buster T. Stallmeyer and take about 10 minutes to sign off.
Okay, good night. Love you.
Thank you, though. Love you, too. All right, Kimberly, moving on to something that is worthwhile.
I don't know.
Kimberly.
I came across this. It's been around Facebook a couple of times, so it may not be new to everybody. But it was a young woman who was she's a photographer in Texas, and she was going to take some pictures of her daughter. And rather than doing the dress her up as a princess or whatnot, she wanted to dress her as historical women who made a difference in history. So I have some pictures, and I have a quote with each woman. This is the young lady's daughter dressed as Susan B. Anthony. And Susan B. Anthony said, "Forget conventionalism, forget what the world thinks of you if you step out of your place. Think your best thoughts, speak your best words, and look at your own conscience for approval. I would rather make history than write about it."
Wow, good for you, SBA.
Yep. Got next picture. Okay, there were more
Just wanna talk
pictures.
about Monica and myself. All right, Monica. Just gonna talk about you next.
All right.
Okay, this is Coco Chanel. In order to be irreplaceable, one must be different. Life isn't about finding yourself, it is about creating yourself. A girl should be two things, who and what she wants.
Nice, absolutely. She also said this, put on your jewelry and everything, and take off the last thing you put on, and you're ready. Okay.
Amelia Earhart. Now and then women should do for themselves what men have already done, and occasionally what men have not done, to establish themselves as people, and perhaps to encourage other women to greater independence of thought and action.
Very good. Very good. Whatever the hell ever happened to her?
I don't know, but this is Helen Keller.
Oh,
And Helen Keller said, "No effort that we make to obtain something beautiful is ever wasted or lost. What I am looking for is not out there, it is within myself."
no, wait. You said she said that?
Helen Keller, yes. Yeah, blind, deaf, and
Wow,
mute.
blind
Yep.
and deaf. That, can you imagine? I don't know. I think about that sometimes because we had a story before about the two twins from Sweden or somewhere, Denmark, but they were blind and deaf, and they just didn't want to go on like that in their life, and they did the euthanasia.
Yeah, weren't they?
Yeah, I remember
they had
that.
lived their whole life,
About 30
and then
something
they
years.
started going blind and deaf.
Probably, yes. Just, I can't imagine.
Yep. And Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall said that she had a family of strong women, and when she told her mother she wanted to go to Africa, her mother said, "Go." There was no, you can't, you're a girl, or Africa is too far away. And she said, "Whatever you do will make a difference. You have to decide what difference you want to make." But I thought that was really creative of the photographer. And I wish I'd written down her name. I'm sorry. I wrote down the article I got it from. That was from Upworthy. And the article was written by Rosalind Warren. The quotes came from, those were quotes that she had found and put with her article. But I just thought it was very admirable to dress her daughter up as historical figures.
Yeah.
Well, can we be looking for your children to be historical figures this year for Halloween, maybe?
Probably not.
You have to convince the children.
That's true.
Well,
problem.
she said that her daughter was really excited to do the photographs, and she told her when she was taking Amelia Earhart, she said, "You just flew around the world. What do you feel like?" And she said her daughter's eyes lit up, and she snapped the picture. So her daughter learned a lot about history. And
That is really cool.
but no, we don't know what we're doing this for Halloween.
Yeah, I was like,
And my son's decided he's too old for it and won't dress up.
oh,
I like to dress up.
Jamie Seymour is the
Butts.
photographer. Thank you.
Jamie Seymour Butts. I'm so childish. Jamie Seymour
Jamie Seymour.
Butts.
Okay.
Jamie
Seymour.
Seymour.
Yes. Okay.
So what's with the kids not wanting to dress up?
I don't know. Christian's
think it's that
decided he's too
teenage
old.
thing.
Yeah, it's that preteen thing going on. He's too old to dress up.
I dressed up as a teenager because I had a younger sister. I didn't worry about getting candy, but I still went with her. I didn't do it every year, but I still like to dress up now. I mean, we had the Girl Scout thing that we did, and it was a conference, and they had a theme, and they did Wizard of Oz, and she's Dorothy. She made a really cute
I bet
Dorothy.
she did.
We have pictures, but I don't have them available for the guys today. And I was the Cowardly Lion, so.
It was fun to dress up. I like it, but I don't know. But we haven't decided. We talked about it because when you got to make the costumes, you got to start early. So we're trying to get the kids to decide something. And Christian's he said, "I don't want to." So we go
Save money.
get candy without you.
There you go. No,
We won't share. So you can stay at the door and pass them out.
oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And Jennifer and Jen are dressing up. They haven't decided what. But,
They don't need to wait till like the week or two before.
That's
like
what-
last year,
yeah,
and
and
not
they-
be able to dress up.
Yeah, that's what happened last year. I don't know. But yeah, they're trying to figure out something.
Well, maybe Christian will be more inspired. Like everybody's dressing up, even my older brother. So maybe I'll dress up still. I hope so.
I wanted us to do the Five Nights at Freddy characters, but Sissy's scared of them. So
Oh, I've never heard that.
it's a
Just
video
ask your
game.
grandson.
Oh,
Yeah, Gavin tell you about it.
He will fill you all in.
5 Nights of
But we told her the one that scares her the most is the girl. It's an animatronic chicken. It's apparently terrifying. I said,
Pearl
Chica.
or Chica.
I said, you can be Chica, then you don't have to see Chica, and you won't have to be scared. But
Oh,
Yeah,
you need
it's all
4
about
people, and Christian
animatronics
won't
that
get
come to
in.
life and move
Scare you,
around and
yeah.
Get you.
Yeah.
No wonder they don't like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, Christian swears he'll never go back to Chuck E. Cheese. He's been too terrified.
hey, you never know what scares you. Clowns scare some kids.
Clowns are terrifying.
Those little evil-looking, mannequin-looking puppet clowns scare me. Puppet clowns. was a commercial on, well, we had your kids yesterday, the grandchildren, the older grandchildren, and this commercial came on. I don't know what it was. Say it's Geico, but there were two wooden puppets, looked like clowns or Howdy Doody, and they came on, and all of us went, no, just don't want to see it. Don't want to see it. All righty. Tell you what, I'm sure everyone's heard about the refugee crisis going on in Europe, coming from Syria and Pakistan, Afghanistan, and some Iraqis, they're just having to leave because of the violence from in the regime of the country, especially in Syria and ISIS. But I tell you what, Austria and Germany are doing such a great job, and other countries. Hungary didn't really want them, but they finally relented and said, we'll move you further down the road on the train. But when I saw the images of them giving water and saying, we're glad you're here, and clothes and food, it's just heartwarming that humans can be so nice to each other when you see such horrible things going on in the United States. So tonight at 8 p.m., we're going to do a show at the place, and we're going to have, I believe Aaron Ross going to be on the show tonight with us, as well as our normal folks, which is Robert Graves and Daryl Furlow and my husband and myself, and we're going to discuss the topic of Kim Davis, and I'm sure you know her as the clerk that refused to give out the marriage licenses to same-sex couples, and now she's facing jail time because, well, she is in jail because of that. And so we're going to discuss that at 8 p.m. And Robert Graves will be on his show, The Unconventional Pastor, at 7. And so we ask you just to tune in and enjoy the rest of the day with us. Any parting comments, ladies? We have 3 minutes. Maybe we can talk about moon time real quick. Oh, we got all next week to do that. Ruthie will still be gone next week, sad to say. But
Yeah, I miss her.
yeah, she's our moral compass, and when she's not here, we just run amok.
We go way off track. Yeah.
Well, I just challenge everybody to this week find someone that you normally wouldn't do something for, whether it be someone that's homeless on the side of the street with a sign, or just someone. And either if you have no money to give, a smile or kind word or something that you can do, something that's a kindness to someone else, and not just the normal, you and me and you, and just reach out.
Monica, I so agree, and I'm glad you said that, because you know what? We're just wasting our time here on this earth if we don't do things like that. And I'm going to leave y'all with, in the words of our youngest grandson, Connor. I'm going to try to get this up here. God forgive me. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show it to this camera, I guess. And even though I won't be able to hear it, will I? Okay. I hope his parent.
Hold it kind of in front of your face.
Okay.
Of the microphone that should be.
Okay. I hope his parents aren't watching. And he did not get this from his grandmother. Did not. But it's so cute. And this is the way I feel sometimes. I even repeated it yesterday and did the motions.
Do you got a poo-poo?
Yeah, you can do it. Push. Alpha.
Jesus.
Over.
Is it coming out?
There's nothing in there.
I'm sorry. Over.
Some days, I guess you just have to
There's just
have
ain't
that
nothing else to
sentiment.
say. Some days there's just nothing else to say.
Sometimes that says it all. But he didn't get it from his grandmother or his grandfather, so I'll let you determine who he got it from. And you heard his dad say, "Oh, Jesus, like, where's this coming from?" So, by process of elimination, he got it from his Aunt Monica.
Oh, right. I haven't been around the kid that much.
But I thought it was
I think I've
funny.
held him twice.
Whenever he flushed the toilet, that was like the last one. Like I have to do this. Okay, people.
He's a cutie.
We hope you have a good week, and we will see you next week on Reflections. Bye.